Today, we're taking a look at what's happening in gaming and tech news. Let's get to it. Since launch, Helldivers 2 players have been able to coordinate on some big game events to pull off some pretty major victories. But over the weekend, they faced their biggest mission yet. The Helldivers 2 situation continues to morph into a movement. To recap, last week, Arrowhead Games made a post online that said starting on May 6th, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see a mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have a linked Steam and PlayStation Network account by June 4th. A large contingent of PC gamers weren't thrilled with this change and took to the Steam discussion page, Reddit, and a few more online outposts to voice their displeasure. One of the pieces of feedback was that some were saying that had there been a PSN requirement in place at the time of purchase, they wouldn't have bought the game. But now that the requirement is coming so far after launch, they have no way of refunding the game, because they've already logged hundreds of hours and have blown past the 2-hour play limit on Steam. The first gamer response was a concise review bombing, racking up 37,000 negative views on May 3rd. But things didn't stop there. Over on Discord, there were some community managers who were sympathetic to the situation, and some were even rumored to have gone as far as encouraging review bombing. But there were others who were downplaying this as gamers overreacting to what they described as a trivial non-issue. This back and forth resulted in another 72,000 negative reviews over on Steam, and by Sunday the 5th, the movement had accumulated a whopping 220,000 negative reviews, enough to drop the game to having just a mixed overall rating. During all this, Sony removed Helldivers 2 from sale in 177 regions before the May 6th deadline, which made things worse, because this ended up pulling developer Arrowhead into the back and forth. Gamers started posting scenarios of them being in countries that don't have access to PSN, but did have access to Steam and Helldivers. This resulted in the CEO of Arrowhead Games replying to a question about what happens in these scenarios with a defeated, "I don't know." It was made clear that ultimately this was a Sony decision, and that Arrowhead had no control over their policy decisions. While all this was going on, people started posting screenshots of how they were requesting refunds at Steam, showing that Valve was honoring the requests. We're guessing that this likely stung the most, because at 9 p.m. on Sunday evening, the primary PlayStation account made the following post. The May 6 update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. This has resulted in a big swing back over at Steam, where at the time of this recording, almost 40,000 Helldivers have switched their reviews back to positive. On one hand, when Sony announced their new PSN overlay for PC with the ability to earn achievements and track progress across devices, it came as no surprise, because Microsoft already does this with their Xbox service on PC. On the other hand, Sony's PSN requirement appeared to be starting with an upcoming game, and seeing it retroactively added as a requirement to a game that has been out for more than a month just didn't feel right. We thought that, at a minimum, if they were going to stay the course, that they needed to offer refunds to anyone who had purchased the game before May 6 up through the June deadline. But it seems that Valve stepped in and started doing that for gamers. It appears as if the Helldivers 2 community has won this mission and have kicked off a new one, Operation Cleanup. They're asking Helldivers to revert their negative views back to positive. We're not sure how this is going to end, because while 37,000 gamers changed their reviews to positive on May 6th, almost 17,000 new negative reviews appeared that morning. We feel like there's probably way more to come, but for now, it looks like mission accomplished for the Helldivers 2 community. Meanwhile, we're guessing that Bethesda was perfectly fine with Helldivers taking up all the air in the room because the Fallout 4 Next Gen update continues to disappoint. Among the massive pile of issues that people have reported, it's coming to light that some PC Game Pass players no longer have access to content that they paid for, because there's no longer an in-game way to access it. This specific issue revolves around the Creation Club, and we can confirm that it's an issue because we're also affected by it. The core problem is pretty straightforward. After taking the Next Gen update, there's no longer a menu item for the Creation Club. We had the menu item on our system the morning of the update, and it was gone after the update. If you're unfamiliar, the Creation Club is an in-game store where you can buy some player-made mods, along with some special content added by Bethesda themselves. It's a curated list of mods that are supported by Bethesda, but more importantly, they cost real money. If you're a PC Game Pass user and had Fallout installed, bought some Creation Club items, and then later uninstalled the game after you finished, there's a strong chance that with the Next Gen update, there's no easy way for you to actually access that content anymore. We've been able to confirm this scenario here at Overload headquarters, and the repro is easy. Simply install Fallout 4 through PC Game Pass and launch the game. Once you get to the main menu, you'll notice that there is no menu item for the Creation Club. For us, it's not that we simply can't access the Creation Club store, it's that we have no means to access and download content that we've paid for. And it's not just us. So far, it's everyone that we've talked to who's installed the game through PC Game Pass. This is particularly egregious. Imagine buying a book with 30 chapters, and midway through chapter 10, the book publisher walked into your house and took chapters 11 through 30 and left. And yes, that's my analogy, and I'm sticking with it. There is a way to get to the Creation Club content, but it's a workaround that involves disconnecting your PC from the internet, launching the game, getting to the menu, seeing the menu item there, reconnecting the PC to the internet at that point. But depending on your setup, this may or may not be incredibly cumbersome. There are also reports of people being able to use VPNs to get the menu item to appear, but these are just workarounds. These aren't solutions. Regardless, not only has the next-gen update been a bad experience for some gamers, it's blocking others from accessing content that they've paid for. We opened a ticket at Bethesda.net, and even though in the original ticket we let them know that we're not running any mods, and that we've uninstalled and reinstalled the game, and that one of the scenarios is an account that has never played Fallout 4 on PC, and that we're seeing this on multiple machines, their response was to make sure that we uninstall any mods that we're running, and if that doesn't work, uninstall and reinstall the game. So it looks like we're entering tech support hell as we investigate this, and based on the first response, we're probably not getting access to the stuff that we've already paid for anytime soon. If anyone else is experiencing this or wants to repro it, let us know in the comments so we can add examples to our ticket. Hades 2, the eagerly awaited sequel to one of the best roguelites of all time, entered early access on May 6th. And so far, initial feedback from game critics is making it look like the sequel could meet the lofty goals set by the original, which is impressive, because for Supergiant Games, the game's developer, this is their first ever sequel. And if you somehow missed out on what the original game was all about, Hades 2 has a similar setting. It's a roguelite dungeon crawler in which you'll battle beyond the underworld of Greek myth using dark sorcery to take on the sinister Titan of Time. You'll explore a bigger, deeper mythic world, vanquishing the forces of the Titan of Time with the full might of Olympus behind you. The early feedback is already super promising. Videogames.si said, "I don't know what your definition of a perfect sequel is, but according to mine, Supergiant Games is currently cooking one with Hades 2. Xbox Era said, "Hades 2 early access launch is better than I could have hoped for. If this was version 1.0, it would be better than 95% of the games launched in the past decade." Twinfinite said, "Hades 2 has managed to improve on every single aspect of the original. If you're a fan of difficult but rewarding roguelite exploration, where every run gets you closer to your objective, it's perfect." And there's even higher praise at PC Games N, where they said, "Hades 2 is flawless, perfecting the roguelike genre in a way its predecessor almost managed to." The original Hades is already an all-time great, so to us, it's impressive that it appears that Supergiant Games might be able to top that with Hades 2. Time will tell, and as far as we can tell, Supergiant plans on leaving the game in early access at least through the end of 2024. You can pick it up now on Steam and Epic storefronts. The Humble Store Spring Sale 2024 is in, full bloom. It's running now through May 21st, and not only can you save up to 97% on some big AAA and indie favorites, but you can also pick up some fantastic soundtracks and development and editing software too. Speaking of those deep discounts, here's a few to consider. You can pick up the excellent XCOM 1 and 2 for just $1.50 and $3 respectively. Or for $1.50, you can grab The Last Campfire. And don't let the simplicity of the trailer fool you. This is not just another entry in the puzzle genre. It's like an interactive fairy tale, well worth your time and money, especially for $1.50. Or you can go a completely different route and upgrade your Mortal Kombat 11 base game by picking up the Ultimate Add-on Bundle for just $5. And it's worth calling out that this isn't just about building out your game library for pennies on the dollar. 5% of every purchase made during the sale is donated to the charity of your choice. So head on over to humblebundle.com and pick up those games that you passed on when they were at full price. As always, we'll leave a link to this and all the other news items in the description below. And that about wraps things up. Please like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe to our channel if you want more content like this. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and we'll chat again soon.